Production for Panther Sports Talk is brought to you in part by Johnson's Automotive Service is a proud supporter of Panther Sports on WEIU. Johnson's is a complete car facility for all your automotive repair and maintenance needs. Johnson's Automotive Service, keeping your life running.
Welcome to another edition of Panther Sports Talk right here on WIU. I'm your host, Rich Moser. On today's program, we're talking softball, baseball, and a little spring football. Kick it off with EIU women's softball coach Angie Nicholson. And coach, last week, 5 games, all nail biters, all decided by 1 run. And out of the 5, when we talk about them, the 3 that you needed to win are the 3 that you did win.
Yeah. We completely planned that. We wanted to keep the crowd there, make it a little exciting for senior weekend.
Now, when the way the series went last week, you guys played 2 against Butler, 1-run losses, and you came back and won all 3 against Austin Peay, and the 3, like we talked about, mattered in terms of conference play. I guess what was the message to the team going into the Austin Peay series after ending the 11-game winning streak against Butler?
It's the same message every week. We just got to play our game, and we got to, we've preached all year about leaving your mark and trying to leave your mark and go in and you know, what do we want Eastern softball to be known for? And so that was we had a long talk after the Butler series about what do we want to be known for? What do we want to leave our mark? What do we want everyone to say about us? And you know, we're just trying to get them to understand, you know, we've got to go in and we've got to take care of our business. So that's what we're trying to do.
Now, you talked about the 2 games against Butler. You came in there, you were riding an 11-game win streak. Give the young lady credit that went out for them and pitched a great game. You guys had a great effort there as well. Unfortunately, sometimes when really one hit ended up being the difference in the game, a ball that just got over the head of the outfielder and they were able to score, and that ended up being the difference in that 1-run game.
Yeah. You know, Steph Madej, who has been pitching so good, you know, coming on strong here late, and she pitched a great game, and she gives up that 1 hit, which was off of our fielder's glove. And, you know, our fielder tried to make a nice play on it. And then, you know, so they had a runner on third with no outs, and all they did was, you know, go to the second baseman with a ground ball and score her. And, you know, we need to be better than that offensively. We have got to be better than that offensively. We've got to put up the runs. That should not happen for Madej and, you know, our defense, you know, that 1 hit. We're better than that.
Now, I was going to ask you the question about that. It was unusual for me. Now, I don't watch every softball game, and I know you're out there, but I don't recall seeing a lot of left-handed softball pitchers. That seems to be a rarity. In baseball, that seems to be, you seem to see it more. I mean, as a coach, is that something, I'm assuming you don't have one on your staff that throws left-handed batting practice, and is that an adjustment that the team maybe struggled to make there?
No, you know, I don't think so. I don't think it's, you know, we're going to face Chambers from SIUE, and she's a lefty. Is it different? I mean, yeah, the ball would break a different way, but, you know, no, at the end of the day, we just didn't hit her. We just didn't make adjustments, and we didn't hit her. But, you know, you don't come across lefties too often, but it's, you know, again, when you come across them, it's not that much different.
Now, you guys came back in the weekend series that we talked about, and actually you ended up winning all 3 games, and the 2 you won on Saturday both kind of had to win coming from behind, and the fact that you won it in the last inning.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. This team has done that a lot, you know. They're hanging in games, we're hanging in games, and we like to come on at the end, you know, from middle to end of the game, we like to come on. It takes us a while to get adjusted, and all of a sudden we come out of nowhere and we do what we need to do. I don't like that as a coach. I know my pitchers don't like that, but the good thing is we are confident that we'll do that. So I do know that they feel good about themselves going in, you know, to 6th or 7th inning, and they're okay with being down, which is a good feeling. But I'd rather us score a lot earlier and not have to worry about that.
Now, one of the players who's been playing well for you guys, I think we talked a little bit about her last week, is Jeanette Isaac. She seems to have kind of solidified herself in the leadoff spot, was leading the team going into the week in terms of batting average. And I guess that's what you want her to do, even if she's not maybe scoring a lot of runs or driving in a lot of runs with your people at the bottom of the lineup. The fact that she's able to take a lot of pitches and at least put the ball in play probably sets the tone for the rest of the game.
Yeah, she's done a nice job of learning her role, you know, with not hitting at all last year and then coming in and you know, coming into that leadoff spot. She is doing her job. She is taking the pitches. She's having good at-bats. She's finding a way to get on, whether it's hitting, bunting, slapping. She's kind of doing a little bit of everything, keeping the defense on their toes. And, setting that table and getting a run around, that's huge. We just need everybody else to do their jobs behind her.
Now, you guys head into a big regular season ending series here at SIU Edwardsville. Your first time playing them. The teams didn't really play each other last year. That series got rained out. I guess you've talked to enough other coaches throughout the course of the season. What are you going to expect from them this weekend?
We were actually able to see them at Jackson State. When we went down and played early in the season, I think it was March or February, they were in the same tournament. We didn't play each other, but we were in the same tournament. So they actually played before us, so we were able to watch them twice. And, just reading from what they've done in the past and watching them play and seeing them this year, they're a good, strong, fundamental team. They've got a great pitcher. They do a lot of the little things right. And, it's going to be a battle. It's going to be a battle, and, I guess that's the way we want to end. We want to battle with somebody.
Now, the other thing that's still alive this weekend is, based on how the outcome of your games at SIU Edwardsville and the Jacksonville State Series, there is still an opportunity for you guys to host. Are the girls aware of that? I know as a coach you are, because coaches like to look at those numbers, but is the team aware of maybe what's in front of them, what they have to do to be at home this week for the OVC tournament?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They're very well aware, because it's also finals week for us, so we're trying to figure out, if we need to schedule our finals sooner or what we're going to be doing. So we've talked about all the different scenarios and what exactly needs to be done. Of course they want to host. They want to stay home. They would like to sleep in their own bed and all those good things and not be on the road. But, they got to take care of business, and then we got to let the softball guys take care of the other end.
All righty. Well, best of luck this weekend, Coach. They'll be over there at SIU Edwardsville this weekend. It'll be on Saturday, 1 o'clock doubleheader, Sunday, a single game against SIU Edwardsville. The Panthers win all three, then they're in a good position to try to host the OVC tournament, which would be the following weekend, and we would talk about that next week. And no matter what next week, Coach, we're going to talk about the OVC tournament. You guys are already in there for yet another year, so congratulations on that.
Thank you.
I know the goals are still much greater than that, but getting in is usually the first step in the process. Be right back with This Week in EIU Athletics.
Panther fans, here's what's going on in Panther athletics. Baseball now 14-28-1 overall and 8-12-1 in OVC play after they went 2-1-1 this past week. After losing at Illinois 3-2 last Tuesday, they won 2 out of 3 games against OVC rival Belmont at Coaches Stadium. Game 3 of the series was tied in the 10th inning when it was called due to weather-related issues. And prior to the airing of this show on Tuesday, the Panthers were at St. Louis for a night game. Check out EIUPanthers.com for the result and stats of that game. Softball now 37-13 overall and 17-4 in OVC play. As the Panthers went 3-2 this past week, they lost in a doubleheader over at Williams Field last Wednesday in non-conference play against Butler, and then swept the series this past weekend against OVC rival Austin Peay. Track with 2 meets this past week. Both the men and women won last Tuesday in the Tuesday tweener over at O'Brien Field against Indiana State. And then this past weekend, select Panther athletes were at the Drake Relays in Des Moines, Iowa. The Panthers claimed one first-place victory as Peter Garrity won the pole vault event. Women's golf completed their season as they placed 9th in the OVC Golf Championships. Elise Banovic placed 33rd overall for the Panthers. And men's golf also completed their season as they placed 7th overall at the OVC Golf Championships. Oscar Borda and James Jansen tied for 22nd place. And Panther football had their annual spring game at O'Brien Field. The blue team was victorious 31-0. Now here's what to watch for this week. On Friday, track begins a 2-day run at the OVC Outdoor Track Championships in Edwardsville, Illinois. Competition starts at 9 in the morning. And baseball begins a 3-game series at OVC rival Eastern Kentucky, with Game 1 of the series slated to start at 4 o'clock. On Saturday, track wraps up competition at the OVC Outdoor Track Championships, with competition starting at 9 in the morning. Softball is also in Edwardsville, Illinois, as they take on OVC West rival SIU Edwardsville. Panthers and Cougars will play a doubleheader, with Game 1 slated to start at 1 o'clock. Baseball with Game 2 of their 3-game series at Eastern Kentucky. That game is slated to start at 2 o'clock. On Sunday, both softball and baseball wrap up their respective 3-game series. Softball at SIU Edwardsville at 1 o'clock, and baseball at Eastern Kentucky also at 1 o'clock. And next Wednesday, May 7th, softball begins play at the OVC Softball Championships, with location and times to be determined. For Panther Sports Talk, I'm Ramin Karbassioun.
Welcome back to Panther Sports Talk. We're now joined by EIU baseball coach Jimmy Smits. And Coach, last week we talked about how we talk about the schedule is going to come back to you in terms of using coach speak and sports speak. The first of those 4 weekends in terms of the teams you're going to play are down in the bottom of the standings was this past weekend. You guys were able to get that first series against Belmont and continue to stay right in the OVC tournament race.
Yeah, it was a big weekend. I mean, 2 wins, obviously the tie yesterday. It just happened. The weather wasn't allowing us to get that game in. But, right now, we're tied with Belmont. We're in the tournament. So we got them. We got EKU this weekend, then Moorhead, and then Martin. 2 people, EKU and Moorhead, are right above us, a game and a half. So you go in there and you win 2, then you find yourself in a position to that last weekend have a chance to really play for something. So real happy with how we played. Offensively, I think we really started scoring the way I thought we would. So things are starting to really come into play.
Now, I was out there for part of the series over the course of the weekend. It looked like you guys were able to put the offense together, and you put it together in 1 or 2 big innings, which in baseball really can be the difference in how the final outcome of the game goes. And you guys were able to do that twice out there on the 2 games that you won on Friday and Saturday.
We really did. They have 2 left-handed pitchers that statistics and walks and strikeouts are phenomenal. We said, hey, we're going to have to be patient with it. And I think I said on Friday, 5 of the 10 runs were scored where walks are hit by pitches. So guys are starting to understand what we're trying to do. We're not going to power people. We have to get on base in different ways. And so it was exciting to see that come together. Yesterday was just, the weather was a really difficult day with the wind blowing in and the rain. But being able to score 17 runs in 2 games against a really good pitching team gives our offense a lot of confidence right now.
And you guys were able to do that through all parts of the lineup. You had different guys contribute throughout the course of the weekend. And we've talked about that over the last couple of weekends, and we've singled out a guy here and a guy there. But it seems that you're starting to get that on more of a regular basis, not just during a weekend, but during an individual game.
Yeah, I think it's, I think I mentioned it last week. I think we played with the lineup a little too much. We got Cam Bearer now batting behind Volek, and he's really knocking in guys. So we're trying to protect our RBI guys, and Volek is healthy. He's protecting Dimitri. So for a while there, we didn't have that, and so we really have a lineup. I feel 7 really deep that allows us to. You better pitch to this guy, or the guy behind you is going to knock him in. And then, like I said, guys are kind of going after what that pitcher gives them. They're not trying to do too much. And so, again, all those things are coming together. And like I said, we feel real good.
Now, when you go into a series, you guys are able, because you were able to get those big innings and be ahead, probably able to conserve a little bit of your bullpen on Friday and Saturday. How did that then in turn factor into the game Sunday, where you guys really played this start and stop motion a lot of times like people would see on TV in some of the major league games where you play for 3 or 4 innings, then this guy comes out because it's a 45-minute rain delay. You're not going to put him back in. So I guess you really had to have a good deep bullpen to be competitive yesterday.
We did, and that was the nice part about Saturday, that we were able to score runs and not go into that. Joe Greenfield pitched and had about an hour or so delay, and we just felt you can't put a guy back out there for injury-wise. Jaden Wittersheim came in, Ben Kennedy, Jake Haber. So, we're feeling better about the bullpen. Troy Barton was just outstanding. On Saturday, we kind of maybe extended him a little too much because we really wanted, obviously, to win Game 2. But again, same way as the bullpen, I think the rotation in the lineup, everyone's starting to kind of know what their rules are. And when you do that, again, you don't have to do too much. Just come do your job and someone else will pick you up.
Now, the other thing that was over the course of the weekend that was a big thing is on Saturday prior to the game, they kind of had the 20 years you've been here at Eastern, a collection of former players came back, and they, in accordance with the current team. And then also I know you had some friends and family here. I guess kind of take us through that experience. I mean, 20 years comes down to really celebrate it in about 15 minutes before a game. So I guess it must have been nice to see some of those guys back.
Again, it was really a fun day for me. I got choked up a little bit because, 20 years is 20 years. And I got a lot of texts, I got a lot of emails, a lot of phone calls of players that could not be here with prior engagements. But, for me, it's, Eastern's been really good to me. And just the chance to have those guys come back and say thank you, or they had a good time. So it was really nice. And obviously we played well. they complimented the team afterwards. So the guys kind of know how we like to play baseball here, and our guys went out and did it again. So it was really a nice day. Excited for the guys that did come back, and appreciated what Eastern kind of did for me then.
Now, looking forward to this big series this weekend against Eastern Kentucky. I guess, how have you guys already got a scouting report on the Colonels, or is this something you'll still develop during the course of the week?
No, I mean, they're very similar to the last couple teams we've been playing. SEMO and Belmont really run a little bit. So, you know, the offense that they generate comes from can they get on base and can they steal a base along with just the normal hitting. So it's kind of weird. The last couple weeks it'll go the other way. Moorhead and Tennessee Martin are kind of station to station. So, you know, John DeVito's been catching. At the Illinois game, he threw 3 out of 5 guys out, so he's done an outstanding job back there trying to shut down the running game. So, you know, it's OVC play. It's the end of the year. You're either fighting to get in the tournament or fighting to get into the 2 slot. There's really no difference this year than it has been the last 5 years. So, you know, we just told the team it can be a lot of fun if you look at it that way, and just try to knock EKU out by going up there and winning too.
All right, Coach, well, best of luck over there this weekend. We'll talk to you next week about the final 2 weekends of the series and kind of what Eastern needs to do to get into the OVC tournament. Reminder, that'll be over at Eastern Kentucky this weekend on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Softball will have a big series at SIU Edwardsville, and also track is over there for the conference championships. When we come back, we're going to have a few minutes with EIU football coach Kim Dameron and talk about how spring football practice went. We'll be right back here on Panther Sports Talk on WIU.
Garoppolo back, bump fake, in trouble, rolling to the right. Jimmy looking into the end zone, rolling out to the right, throws over the middle, touchdown!
On the season finale of Panther Sports Talk, it's the conclusion to a record-breaking career at Eastern Illinois for quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo. From the Panthers making another postseason appearance to winning the Walter Payton Award, as well as the All-Star Games, workouts, and then the NFL Draft, it's Jimmy Garoppolo's journey to pro football. It's the season finale of Panther Sports Talk, Wednesday, May 14th at 6:30 on WEIU.
Welcome back to Panther Sports Talk. We're now joined by EIU first-year head coach Kim Dameron. We'll see him a lot more in the fall when football season rolls around. But, Coach, as the way seasons go for football, coaching staffs typically come in, I guess, in January in the winter, and then they get their first taste of experience on campus and to look at the guys during spring football. And you guys just wrapped up with that with the spring game on Saturday.
Absolutely. We had a great day Saturday. Beautiful weather, as always, in Charleston. And we had a great day. Had some fans out. The kids competed hard, and I was really pleased with the way the whole day went.
Now, the way this went for you this year, you guys actually got hired a little bit later than I guess some staffs get hired. I mean, maybe a long career, maybe this was along the way, but it always seems to be right in the middle of recruiting season. So you guys hit the ground running, and I think pretty happy with what you guys turned up for your first recruiting class.
Absolutely. In 3 weeks, I thought we really put together a heck of a class. A lot of the signees were here on Saturday. It was good to get to see them again also, as well as we had a couple of recruits in on Saturday also. So, yeah, recruiting has been a major emphasis. It's never too far from your mind because that is the lifeblood of what we do. And so we've been very fortunate that some of the kids that we were able to sign this past class, we really feel like are going to be able to come in and possibly help us maybe even as freshmen.
Now, your mantra as a coach has been as a defensive coordinator and a defensive side of the ball almost your entire career. A new role for you as the head coach, I guess you can actually cheer for the offense. I've heard you even say that, and you want both sides to do well. I guess, how did you evaluate both sides? I don't know how much you've looked at the film already from Saturday.
Yeah, well, it's difficult because, like you said, I'm used to wanting to go out there and have a 0-0 tie, but I can't be that way now. But it was fun. I had a ball, all spring, starting and being able to get back on the offensive side a little bit. I haven't really been able to do that since I was a very, very young coach. But I was pleased with the way they competed. I liked the fact that, we did. The blue team was basically our ones against really everybody else, and I felt like that they showed why they're the ones. And so, we're excited about where we are. We feel like we're on schedule, and we feel like going into the fall that we're right where we need to be.
Now, a lot of times when coaching staffs come in, there seems to be a lot of turnover in terms of a lot of guys just graduated or you weren't very good, and so the staff was dismissed and a new staff's coming in. I know people talk about that Jimmy Garoppolo and Eric Lohr left, and there's no doubt it's going to be hard to replace them, but the cupboard is not exactly empty, and I think the message to get to people is that you return 7 pretty good starters on both sides of the ball.
Absolutely. We're very fortunate. One of the things that I said when I first came here and came for the interview was that I was excited about the opportunity to come in here and take over a program that wasn't broken, because I've been through those in other instances where you go in and it's just completely broken, and you're the reason that the reason you're there is because it is. That wasn't the case here. Obviously, you know, you'd love to have Jimmy and Eric back. It was good to have them back on Saturday. I just wish they'd have been playing. No, but we do. We've got some players coming back that have played a lot of football at this level and have won a lot of games. And so, you know, we've got to plug some holes. Obviously, we got to play well at quarterback. We've got to get somebody to, and you know, right now it's Andrew Manley, and so we're excited about, you know, the possibilities for next fall. Just because of the leadership and the experience we do have with 7 returning starters on both sides of the ball.
Now, you talk about Andrew Manley has kind of won the job. You're only going to have him for 1 year if indeed he is the guy. Right. When you put in a playbook, I guess from the offensive side of the standpoint, is there part of it that's designed for him, or will he just adapt to what's going to be the system for a couple years under you as the head coach?
Well, the answer to that question is yes, both. Okay. Some of the things that we do obviously will be designed around what he does best, or you know, really we have packages for, you know, the quarterbacks, whoever the backup would be, because that his catalog of plays might be a little different than the starters, but they all have to be able to fall within the system that is in place. And so that's the great thing about Coach Stevens' system is we're flexible enough that we can be fast-paced all throw, or also we're flexible enough to where we can slow it down if we need to. We can run the football. We can run it with the quarterback. We can run it with tailbacks. We can run it with wide receivers. So, I mean, we feel like right now we have the type of system that we need for all types of games and all types of opponents. And we just need to find out what, you know, if Andrew's the guy going forward, when we get into game planning for that first game, that we'll be doing the things that he does best.
Now, you mentioned that, and we'll wrap up here with the last question. The first game, play a Big Ten member, Minnesota, still about 4 months away before that. What is the task, I guess, for the coaching staff and then for the players in order to be prepared to run out there in Minneapolis in about 4 months?
The number one thing we have to do is evaluate our players. Right now, we're going through some player evaluation meetings this week. We're sitting down with each one of them and letting them know what we see, what they think, where we see them in the fall. We want them to know going into the summer, this is where you are right now. We need to have a great summer. We need to have guys that, you know, we're going to be some that are in school and will be here for summer conditioning and all that stuff. We need to have a great summer as a football team. We need to go into fall camp, stay healthy, and continue to get better and integrate some of these freshmen in with what we're doing. And then we've got to keep recruiting on top of all of that. So there's not really any time to just kind of chill and not do anything. We're going to be pretty busy. But I really feel like that this football team will be ready to go when we go into Minneapolis.
All right, Coach. Best of luck. I know you guys are going to have a very busy season. We'll be back. We're talking a lot more football in the fall with Coach Dameron. Will be here during the fall every week as we go through the season. The opener is August 28th against Minnesota, but a lot of time between now and then. Coach,
absolutely. Congratulations
on a good spring game. That's going to wrap up this edition of Panther Sports Talk right here on WIU.
Production for Panther Sports Talk is brought to you in part by Johnson's Automotive Service is a proud supporter of Panther Sports on WEIU. Johnson's is a complete car facility for all your automotive repair and maintenance needs. Johnson's Automotive Service, keeping your life running.